Let's go to watch along mode. So I'm going to explain how this works for us when we do watch alongs. So on YouTube, we have a copyright issue. I have to put it real tiny in the corner, and you guys got to just zoom in. So just pinch out your finger like this, and if you want to zoom into that part of the screen, there you go. So that's just how we're going to do watch alongs on this show. So let me move on. A couple more storylines to get through. Brian Pillman, so Lexis King's dad.
Yeah.
Robert. We're covering on the NXT show.
Watching the son and the father in the same week.
I know, that's kind of funny. But Brian Pillman, who died, he has passed on, obviously. He was a loose cannon, as they say. This is the first time we're seeing him on our podcast. It's the first time we're covering him. But basically, I think he comes out on commentary, and he was talking during that whole Stone Cold Mark Miro match, promoting the fact that he was in Stu Hart's dungeon, which I never knew that. That was a new thing to me. And that the Hart family were really close friends to him. And he claims that he's going to have an interview with Bret Hart at the next pay-per-view, which will reveal a lot about Bret's future, because people have been wondering about that. So, all right. So, little tidbit of a storyline, not really much. He just showed up on commentary and said what was going to happen. We have some reviews. All of us, a little half thumbs up, a little kind of liked it. So, I mean, it wasn't the craziest Brian Pillman. It wasn't the most charismatic Brian Pillman. But it was interesting. I think we also got, because Stone Cold was fighting, we got to mention that Stone Cold has been talking about how he wants to challenge Bret Hart from time to time. So that kind of comes up every now and again, and that's going to be a match for next year at WrestleMania. So, all right, Vlad, any comments on Brian Pillman's first appearance here on the Malapert Smark Podcast before I move on to Robert?
Yeah, I mean, Pillman, known as a crazy guy, and he really was a kind of a loony type of guy, but very entertaining, very interesting. I think he was in crutches because I think he just had a car accident, and that's why he wasn't able to wrestle, and that's why he was doing more of this other type of stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think, but obviously the stuff that with Bret Hart is actually all leading up to some great stuff. The forming of the Hart Foundation, that whole stable, the feud with Austin, which is coming, all tremendous stuff.
Is Brian Pillman in the Hart Foundation?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So he was in that whole group that forms. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was great stuff. And Pillman and Austin obviously have some history because they were like a tag team in WCW for a long time as the Hollywood Blondes, so that's another interesting tidbit for many years, But
yeah, he didn't really talk about Austin while he was on commentary on this day.
Right. But not on this day, but as the weeks go on, I think there'll be something going on with Austin and Pillman as well. But anyways, yeah, it was an interesting segment. I enjoyed it. I enjoy Pillman. I've always enjoyed him. I mean, he's nuts. Oh, he's absolutely crazy, but I enjoy him.
All right. Robert, do you want to make any comments on Lexis King's dad before we move along?
Not much. I mean, this is not the crazy Pillman that people really remember him as. We'll get there, but this is a much calmer version of him for now. And yeah, his connection to the Hart family, it's not that I didn't know, it's just, it's been so long that I kind of forgot. So yeah, that the stuff that he was saying on commentary was just, basically as a reminder for me, because I forgot about a lot of that stuff.
All right, cool. Well, let me move on. I got a couple more storylines to get through before I let you guys go home and go to sleep. This is the one watch along I want to do for the day. This was my favorite segment of the day. So I'll just do the one segment where Mark Henry and Jerry the King Lawler. So King is here to interview Mark Henry, who is new to the show. He showed up at SummerSlam and I think at last week's Raw, and he was in the Olympics. So if you guys don't mind, let's do a little watch along if anyone wants me to press pause. But I thought this segment was great, so I'm going to just play the whole thing. And this is the only thing from this show that we'll play, and the rest of it we'll just run through afterwards.
at SummerSlam. And you know what Jake the Snake at SummerSlam had in common with the Olympics? No. They both got bombed.
Show a little respect, Lawler, please.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Well, I think King had a match with Jake the Snake where he tried to pour alcohol down his throat because Jake is a sober person at this point. So that was a heel King Lawler thing to do. This is the first really King Lawler promo that I'm playing on this podcast too. So this is.
If he said that today, he would have been canceled.
Oh my!
Oh, yeah.
It's like a whole different time today.
Yeah. Not only did he say it, the way he laughed afterwards.
Right. Oh yeah, he definitely would have been canceled today if he said that.
The thing with Lawler is he's amazing at getting heat. Like he's old school completely. Like I've ever watched some of the older stuff with Lawler, even in his WWF early days, like he's just great at getting heat. He's a great heel. Tremendous. Yeah. I mean, that was a stiff shot. Woo. Just the bombing in the 96 Olympics that just happened recently. So that was, woo.
Yeah.
All right, let me move on to what happens with Mark Henry because this is pretty stiff too.
Yeah, you're the strongest man in the world. And yeah, you competed in the Olympics. You represented the United States in weightlifting. But you know what? Now you've signed a contract with the World Wrestling Federation. And you haven't even had one match yet, and you're already making a lot of people mad. You made me mad at SummerSlam, and believe it or not, you even made Jake the Snake mad. Because you see, when I was pouring that bottle of booze down Jake's throat, and you came up from behind and grabbed it out of my hand, Jake wasn't finished drinking it. He got real mad. And then...
So last Monday, we were wondering if Mark Henry had done anything. I think that was his first appearance really at SummerSlam. We got involved with that King Lawler and Jake the Snake match. So they reviewed that for us.
You even got in the face of the man they call Vader?
This we saw last week.
What's the matter with you? Are you crazy?
I'm not crazy at all. Personally, I don't like you very much. I don't like Vader very much. And there's a lot of others here at the World Wrestling Federation that I don't particularly care for.
Oh, is that so? Well, let me tell you something. World's strongest man, Mr. Olympian, and the new member of the World Wrestling Federation. You know what I want to do? I want to challenge you to a match. No, wait a minute. You know what? See, because I know you haven't been drinking. No, hold on. Hold on now. Listen, listen to me. You don't know anything about wrestling. You don't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch, and I'm challenging you to a wrestling match. Do you understand that?
Just like I told you, if you want to fight, bring it on. Ain't nothing but air and opportunity.
That's pretty brave of King to challenge the world's strongest man.
Hold it. You don't seem to understand, big guy. I'm not talking about a street fight. You didn't join the World Street Fighting Federation. You joined the World Wrestling Federation. And I'm challenging you to a wrestling match.
You know, and these people know, that I've just recently signed, and I haven't had the proper work that I need. Being a professional athlete and an Olympian, I know when it's time for me to lift.
Oh, lame.
It's time for me to wrestle, and I'm just not ready right now.
Just do it, bro.
There'll be a day.
Well, in other words, you're not ready because you haven't trained enough. You know what? I think you should have won a gold medal at the Olympics. You should have won a gold medal for being the biggest coward there. What? Oh, look at him ball up his fist. I think you're yellow. If you want... Do you want to wrestle? If you want to wrestle, you got to... You understand me? You want to wrestle? It's on. Yeah. Oh. So, you're accepting my challenge to a wrestling match, huh? And I tell you what, when I'm done, you don't get one gold medal, but kick. All right, I think the King, JR, may have really overstepped his bounds on this one. Well, I don't know. You never underestimate the King.
Man, I really liked how. Let me move back to the bigger screen here. I really liked how King switched all of a sudden from being like a arrogant guy to being like a weaselly scared guy as soon as he got grabbed. I thought that was a good turnaround. But anyways, I'm gonna go to our reviews on this to see what you guys thought of it. Let's see. I'm the only one who gave it a 2 thumbs up. I really liked it. To me, this was my favorite scene from the day. Therefore, our only watch along of the day today. Vlad and Robert, a thumbs up. Interesting early segment for the World's Strongest Man to see him have a promo battle with Jerry the King Lawler. So I'll start with Robert. Thoughts on Mark Henry?
That's not someone I'd want to pick a fight with, so I don't know what
for real.
what Lawler was thinking. But yeah, I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, if you're gonna challenge someone, then like if they accept the challenge, why are you all of a sudden acting scared? That I thought that was kind of silly, but it was still hilarious.
It was pretty hilarious. It was perfect. I liked it a lot. Vlad, thumbs up from you. Anything you want to say about the World's Strongest Man and Jerry the King Lawler here?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to see, Mark Henry's basically debut in wrestling. I mean, we know of him now and everything that he's done, and he's had a pretty good career as a wrestler, champion a couple times over. But yeah, I mean, this was interesting. I mean, he was still learning the business here. He was still trying to understand. Putting him with Lawler in his first feud or his first program, I thought it was a good idea because why not put him with a veteran, a guy that could kind of help him along and get him through some segments and probably get him to a pretty easy match, I would think. And yeah, good stuff, funny stuff. And Lawler's great. Yeah, I mean, Lawler's just he's the king of getting heat.
King of a very basic wrestling segment, but he made it work very well.